Well, folks, the Biden administration has announced that it is going to end Title 42 in May, which the Border Patrol says could lead to a tripling of illegal immigrants flooding across the southern border. Even some Democrats are saying that it is a reckless move. It's another flashing welcome sign for hundreds of thousands to enter the United States and be given taxpayer-funded government support, which the majority of Americans, according to the latest Rasmussen poll, oppose. The Biden open borders policy degrades our sovereignty and our system of laws, and fighting against it must be an unambiguous objective. However, it's time to accept that those who have come, save a few, will likely stay. Let's be honest. Mass deportations have never been a viable answer to the immigration crisis. Now, that means those immigrants and their children will, at some future point, likely become voters, adding to the increasingly powerful Latino American voter demographic. Republicans are right to rail against illegal immigration, but they also should see the enormous opportunity to build a relationship with these immigrants through robust outreach to the broader Latino community. Latinos are the largest potential growth demographic for Republicans. A strong commitment to them, including outreach to new arrivals who are not yet eligible to vote, will ensure the far left's advance is blunted. In the last century, waves of Italian, Irish, and Jewish immigrants, among others, were actively courted by Democrat-aligned unions and liberal political groups from the moment they reached our shores, promising jobs that would feed their families. People who came here with nothing moved from the racial ghettos of the cities to home ownership and the middle class in one generation. Now, those moves were fueled by what today are distinctly conservative values: hard work, entrepreneurship, strong families, thriving faith communities, and education that provides a firm foundation for success. But today's left-wing Democrats have a problem. They're not offering empowerment. They're offering more government programs, welfare, and racial division. They've also abandoned law enforcement and tough-on-crime policies that keep particularly urban Hispanic communities safe. Recent polling suggests that both inflation and crime are top issues for Latino voters. This gives Republicans a golden opportunity to target and organize Latino communities aggressively. You know, there was a time when grabbing a majority of the Latino vote for Republicans or conservatives was perceived as out of reach. Republicans were effectively painted by Democrats and the media as the party of the rich, the white suburbanite, and the Protestant. Many Republican strategists for decades ignored both blacks and Latinos, figuring them unattainable. Democrats had better organized those communities and made constant efforts to demonstrate, at least in thin ways, that they were focused on their needs. Today, though, Republicans are striking strong populist tones, attracting more blue-collar voters. And the fastest growing group of evangelical Protestants in the United States are Latinos. What worked for George W. Bush, who received more than 40% of the Hispanic vote in 2004, and Donald Trump, who increased his own percentage of the vote by 16 points over his 2016 total, was a message of empowerment. For Bush, it was a combination of tax cuts and education reform. For Trump, it was tax cuts that created a booming economy that opened doors for economic advancement, and that can work again. The left, they want Latinos to be the next racial group that can be lured into their dependency trap, and they think this scheme is a home run. The polling, on the other hand, tells a different story. Latinos are now evenly split between the parties, with 22% undecided. For Republicans, Latinos becoming swing voters means they need to show up more, spend more resources on reaching Latino voters, and not just with some RNC program that they stand up in election years. They need to continually organize in Latino neighborhoods, establish Latino GOP social clubs, recruit Latino candidates, and give Latino Republicans at all levels of the system higher profile roles in the party. They need to authentically engage Latinos in the process of creating policy positions that speak to their desire for real empowerment. Democrats can't do that anymore. This is a moral and a political imperative to protect the future of American values and American greatness. America's Latino community is poised to save the nation from the socialism many of them fled, and Republican leaders should open their hearts and minds and let them do it.